Here. What's up, guys? Happy, man, what day is it already? It's already Wednesday, hump day. Oh, it's the first of the month. Hope you guys had a good night last night. Fun slate of baseball. It was kind of weird, but then a lot of it made sense. Mariners dropping 10. We liked them against Lothar. The Yankees went off on Syndergaard, but it wasn't like the usual suspects, right? Judgy, I think, went 0 for. Yeah, Judgy went 0 for 3 with a walk, and he had a sac fly, I believe. Like the guys you wanted were like Matt Carpenter, Miguel Andujar, and Jose Trevino, and Joey Gallo, home run points with 2 for 3 day out of the 9 hole. So that's a good sign for him. The Mets dropped 10. I was all over Pete Alonso, and he was like one of the lower scoring Mets, right? So sometimes even when the stacks hit, or the teams hit, the stacks and the forefront guys don't necessarily get there. The Dodgers look at the lights 2 days in a row against the Pirates. What's going on with that? That's a little weird, a little sus. But other than that, man, I think it was a pretty run-of-the-mill slate. Pitching, I guess pitching was way different. I guess Castillo always had a range of outcomes for him to go bananas, but boy, did he go bananas. 10 strikeouts in 6 innings, 35 fantasy points. I was leaning a lot on Gausman against that watered-down White Sox lineup, and that really didn't go great. I don't even think he went 6. They pulled him early. Giolito got pulled early. It was a 6-5 ultimate ball game, but 4.2 innings for Giolito. Got 8 strikeouts, hit a strikeout prop if you were shopping that. And then Gausman went 5 innings, strikeout per inning. Had 3 earnings, and Andrew Vaughn was getting him while Alejandro Kirk, who was the nuisance for the White Sox, he had 2 bombs. So kind of a weird game where one guy was having the other pitcher's number. So that was unfortunate. So I never really had a lot of exposure to a pitcher that was just like going bananas. But it is what it is. Today's slate's also kind of feeling similar in the sense that there's not really like super aces, right? We got Cortez at the tippy top. SP2 on this slate in pricing is Tariq Skubal, so we might have more of the same from last night. It's definitely a lot smaller than last night, but you know the drill as always. We need to crank things up and do some research, look at the weather, kind of lay a foundation for what we might be looking at tonight. So let's go ahead and I guess we need to get the weather report up. I didn't get it up. There's already some games going on now. I didn't really dabble in that slate. Let's see. We'll pull up the Roto-Grinders weather so we can see what Mr. Roth had on today's early slate, or today's main slate. Good call yesterday by him on that course situation. What up, Gilbert? Man, we light today, huh? It's all good. All right, so where are we starting on the main slate? The Mets? Are the Mets on this slate? No. This looks like their early games. We're looking for Yankees, Orioles, something like that here, right? So it'll be right here. Seattle, Baltimore, 99% chance there's no issues here, so that's a good sign. Yellow, orange in the Yankee game, yikes. Diciest game of the day. Two main things to note. Number one, there have been some real soft postponements this year in situations where we might see storms. This fits the bill. Two, right now models have the rainstorms holding a hair north of the ballpark, but it's too early to know for sure. I lean towards them playing, but can't really give too many specifics. All right, well, that's that's quite the quite the curveball, I guess, because we just talked about how this slate was a little bit shallow on pitching and the top guys in the diciest weather game. So, playing with fire there. Cincy at Boston, pretty good chance for light drizzle here, but right now, my trusted forecast model keeps everything light, easily playable. There's nothing heavier nearby that we want to circle back. All right, cool. So, looks like the Yankee game is the most troublesome spot. I'll put a link in chat. Make sure you bookmark that. Kevin Roth, kind of my go-to every day before I really start digging in on research and getting into the slate. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go game by game on all the stuff on the main slate. I'm going to put lineups in as they come out, confirm. I already got the projected lineups through, so it'll be a little less time typing this stream than some other streams, but that's okay. And we'll also bounce back and forth from our prop sites like PrizePicks, Underdog. So let's get cranked up here. The stream brought to you by RunDFS.com. You guys want to open up this spreadsheet? You know the drill. Go to RunDFS.com. Get yourself a membership behind the paywall. Then click VIP portal. There'll be a link to the RunDFS.com Discord. And then, of course, the RunDFS.com MLB VIP spreadsheet. All right. Game number one. Orioles hosting the Mariners. So Orioles are already out with a confirmed lineup. So we'll get that typed in here. All right, Kyle Brightis on the bump for the Orioles, taking on Robbie Ray, reigning Cy Young Award winner. Let's open up Fangraphs. I don't know why that's not already open. But so far this year, Bradish, unlucky versus his Sierra. His expected ERA is still pretty doggone high. His whip is still pretty doggone high. What we know from him, and we'll pull up his minor league stuff too to kind of tell the story. We know he could be a good strikeout guy because he was in the minors. And we know he's kind of, got to develop a little bit more at the major league level. He's not as good as Grayson Rodriguez, but he has a great chance to be a staple in that rotation in the next coming years. Still a young whippersnapper. But let's see, career numbers in the minors. This season he had 15 innings pitched in AAA with 17 strikeouts. Last year 100 innings with 131 strikeouts. Had a problem with whip last year. This year he was doing a lot better and had a pretty decent ground out to air out ratio at 1.23. So he's regressing a little bit. And the walks. Last year the walks were a problem, and this year they were still there. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing as a catalyst into raising his whip. Although his walk percentage to righties is really not that high, 8.5%, right? It's a little bit uncomfortable, but it's not ridiculous. It's that 361 average allowed and the hard contact to both sides of the plate that's really getting him in trouble, but especially the fact that he's not really striking out righties. So looking at the minor league level, let's split his numbers this season and last year against righties and see if we're expecting an extreme progression. 7 innings against righties, 9 strikeouts, yes. And then last year, there are some reverse splits pitchers that can strike out the other side of the play a little bit more. I'm not getting the numbers here. Let's see, 2021. $14 Ks total. Yeah, okay. So for whatever reason, he's not putting out righties so far, and that's been a real big problem. I also imagine his BABIP's going to be through the roof. So let's split his batted ball data so far. Because the 361 average, that dog will just not hunt in the major league level. but they have time to, let that develop because they're going nowhere fast, right? Let's go BABIP on the split. But he's unlucky against both sides of play. So a 357 BABIP on a 361 batting average allowed. I mean, I guess that's, considering the homers as well. But yeah, his BABIP is really doggone high to both sides of the plate, 364 to 357. So obviously there's going to be some regression, positive regression, if you will, coming soon. And I'm willing to bank on the progression of the strikeouts, but it's a scary thing. His swing and strike rate, 11.5%, at 11% the last couple games. So I'm willing to bet that his DNA from the minors is going to start evolving in the major league level. But I don't know that I'm going to jump on him as a DFS play going forward. But I think might be the play for Bradish is to trust in the strikeouts to come, right? That 11.5% swing strike rate, all the stuff in the minors. And maybe in the meantime, we can take advantage of perhaps low strikeout props. What do we got on Bradish K's? 4. See, I think I'm okay with that. Looking at this projected lineup for the Mariners, Julio Rodriguez strikes out quite a bit so far. Eugenio Suarez, Frazier, Mikey, Ford, Cal Raleigh. I mean, we got some big numbers here. So 4 is kind of a really low number. So I'm willing to jump on that. So we'll start a list. We'll go pitcher strikeouts. I'm willing to grab some shots on the 4 strikeouts. Because of how shallow pitching is, I might even throw 5,800 on Bradish and hope that, he keeps the ball in the park here. Baltimore, the new park might help him a little bit, but we'll hold out for what the confirmed lineup is. We don't have a confirmed Mariners lineup yet, but I think I will take some action on Bradish. It is over 4 strikeouts. I know he got smacked by Boston, right? Yeah, still getting strikeouts though, right? So we'll take that early. We'll take the strikeouts, and then we'll wait and see. I definitely think on DK at 5,800 because of the lack of oomph at pitcher today. I definitely think I'll have some Bradish as my SP2 and just kind of, cheapest pitcher on the slate with a little bit of strikeout potential. Just kind of hoping that it falls and give me double-digit fantasy points. This is going to be a night of the bats, it looks like. So, yeah, let's do it. Let's get a little Bradish at the very, very bottom of the tier 3 because I do think good games will happen eventually. What up, Jimmy? What up, Ayo? Like number 10. Oh, you're number 10 to like the video. I appreciate that. Whenever the views are this low and the likes are still really good, that means a lot. Like yesterday, Josh's WNBA video had 50, 60 viewers, but it was 40 likes. So the people that were there were real ones, And then obviously we could pick on Bradish. All of the righties on the Mariners are going to project pretty doggone well in the bomb detector. Ty France, Julio Rodriguez, Eugenio Suarez all have really positive grades. 4.12, 4.33, 4.6 on Eugenio Suarez. All that's really, really good. And, even though we know Bradish could be a strikeout guy, so far the batted ball data has been against him, right? He's just not finding it at the major league level, and that's gonna happen. But against righties so far, a 45% fly ball rate, a 24.5% line drive rate. Not what you want. He's not getting any pop-ups. The pull rate at 37%. That's not terrible, but still enough that you're gonna generate some power. And a 45% hard contact rate. I believe it's gonna be amongst the most in the majors for qualified pitchers. Because usually 40% we're getting a little bit up there, and then 45% is really, really up there. So let's go batted ball data against righties. I wonder if he has enough qualifying innings here. Just want to see who's at the top. All right, so the top qualifying pitcher in hard contact righties is Taylor Hearn. So if I bring this down to, let's bring it down to 0. How many innings does Bradish have against righties? I guess it's not split. I'll just put all the pitchers in the league. It's gonna be a little bit noisier because it's gonna be guys with 1 pitch thrown. Let's see, but we don't have to. We have to go to page 2, I guess. Bradish only 4 strikeouts. Yeah, Paul, I've already jotted that one down. What if I go minimum 10 innings pitched? That's a little bit better. All right, so with the minimum of 10 innings pitched so far this season against righties, Bradish is 9th in hard contact allowed to righties. Names like Luzardo up there, Paulo Espino, Antonio Senzatella. I mean, like, that's really up there. And unlike some of these other guys that attach that hard contact with a 40 to 50+% ground ball rate, Bradish hasn't been doing that. He's letting the ball in the air here. So it's definitely a guy we could hunt for homers until he corrects that issue. I guess the pushback would be in Baltimore, it's been a little bit harder for righties to get the ball over that left field fence, those righty pull hitters. But hey, man, we'll give it a shot. So Suarez, Julio Rodriguez, Ty France, all looking pretty decent here. Reflecting back on the PrizePicks board and maybe looking at Seattle, Julio Rodriguez is a fun play lately because not only is he showing you some pop, but he's also giving you some like stolen base potential. And in the top of the heart of the order there, does give you some run potential. So 7.5 fantasy points would be something I'm slightly interested in if I wanted to maybe get some shares of anti-Bradish cards tonight. And I don't see Suarez. Suarez would be the other guy, and maybe Ty France. Remember, Ty France, Julio, and Suarez are the 3 top guys in the bomb detector. So I might nominate early Julio Rodriguez. Hitter fantasy, Julio Rodriguez over 7, and I might come back later on that, but for now I think I'll list that just to have some options to make some cards with. Spray and pray. What up, Paul? Boy, is it a quiet day out here. I know people don't care about baseball, but man, we plummeting. All right, what's next? I guess we'll discuss the Robbie Ray Orioles situation here. Robbie Ray, I think he skipped that Toronto trip, right? I think he didn't get the old jab. 6 innings strong in his last 3 starts. Strikeouts have been there, 8+ strikeouts in 3 straight starts. Hits also, we know the Robbie Ray experience, a lot of strikeout potential and a lot of hard contact potential. 9% barrel rate so far. The C strike is not what you want, meaning that he's walking and losing pitches a little bit more. 9.4% walk rate to righties. So that's something to keep an eye on. Can he get back into the zone here? The Orioles definitely strike out quite a bit. This confirmed lineup against lefties, Santander, Ryan Mountcastle, Urias, Odor, Chirinos, and Mateo all have 1 in 4 or better strikeout rates against lefties. I definitely think Robbie Ray by happenstance here, because we're probably going to lose at least we'll never have the comfort of Nestor Cortez because of the weather. I think there's a good shot that Robbie Ray emerges as like the ace of the slate. So I guess we're gonna have to juggle that. I think the right play is to scumdacker that and get both sides. So I'm gonna go ahead and introduce Robbie Ray as a tier 2 for now. And then at the bottom here, we're going to put Orioles and Mariners. We're going to play a couple sides of that. I think Bradish just has to be in the mix on a Matt Century for DK. He's just so cheap with some strikeout potential if he can stay in the yard, right? And Camden's a little bit easier to do that lately. What up, Pinstripe? What up, Skimmer? Here. You guys doing all right? Let's move over to this Yankee game. Remember, yellow-orange is what we're slapping on it. Roth has a lot of worries here. Yankees lineup is confirmed. The Angels lineup, not so much. We got DJ LeMahieu, Aaron Judge, Anthony Rizzo, Gleyber Torres, Miguel Andujar, Aaron Hicks, IKF, Kyle Higashioka, and Joey Gallo back in the 9-hole. A couple games now for him in the 9th spot. 2 hits yesterday out of that 9th spot. So, hey, man, sometimes you get thrown in the bottom of the order. You take the pressure off, man, relax a little bit, get some good swings in. And yesterday he was getting on base, so that was a good sign. Reed Detmer's on the bump for the Angels. Also, I don't say an encouraging sign, but sometimes you see Gallo not start against lefties. So I guess maybe, you know, with Stanton on the IL, it's back against the wall and some of those decisions. But I guess an encouraging sign that they're giving Gallo a start here against a lefty, giving him a chance, and if the game plays. Detmer's on the bump for the Angels. This guy's been pure contact, 17% K rate on the season against righties, a 4.57 xFIP against lefties, 4.59. Not striking out lefties, giving up homers to lefties. So this just might be a fun Gallo spot. After all, no interest really in Reed Detmers here. Almost 9K against this Yankees team. There's some pitchers that if they have strikeout acumen, I'll take them and take some shots against the Yankees, because every now and then the Yankees will have a high strikeout lineup. This lineup not so much, right? But the Donaldson, the Stanton lineup, that lineup can definitely offer some Ks. This one is a little bit tougher to get through, and then he's just not a strikeout pitcher to begin with. So I don't mind that. Yesterday the Angels had some kid out of the pen really eat the whole game for him after Syndergaard got smacked. So we aren't necessarily getting the benefit of a tax bullpen. Kenny Rosenberg came out and threw almost 100 pitches yesterday. So way to wear that one. I was kind of surprised that Archie Bradley even came in that game. But for a game where Syndergaard got knocked out early, for them to have to throw more than, you know, or use just 2 pitchers and one guy, you know, 5 pitches, that was a break for them. With that said, their bullpen has been one of the worst in the league in terms of allowing homers. So if this game does get in, we might get 9 quality innings of at bats here. And against righties, Reed Detmers has been a contact guy and a fly ball guy. So while his home run per 9 at just 1.19 might be something that looks good, I think the results have been better than what the batted ball data is going to give us. And if you're going to allow, you know, guys like Judge, Gleyber Torres, Miguel Andujar to lift it, I like his chances of letting a few over the fence. So I'll definitely be in on the Yankee stack, but we do have to monitor that weather and make sure that this game's going to get in. So keep that in mind here. I'll even make a note: weather in Angels-Yankees game. Boom. And then Cortez on the bump against the Angels. Shohei Ohtani did homer in the first inning, but Aaron Judge brought it back over the wall, center field wall. So they had a lot of the air sucked out of the room early. It wasn't a complete, the box score was a little bit anti-Angels, but there were some chances early, and then Mike Trout went for a diving catch. The ball hit the top of his glove, didn't come through. Then Mike Trout slipped. So there were some blunders in that first inning that really just set the tone. And, you know, to have a home run rob and then have Mike Trout not make 2 plays in the first inning, I think they just didn't have a chance after that. So maybe today they shake things off and things go a little bit more their way, assuming this game can get in. So we'll never leave out Ward, Ohtani, Trout, and their ability to come through. I do think you're paying a hefty price if you are getting there, right? Cortez has been, for all intents and purposes, one of the best pitchers in baseball. A 2.17 expected ERA, 2.9 Sierra, a 30% K rate. So I do feel like if I, as a player, want to pick on Nestor Cortez, well, I shouldn't have to pay 5 to 6K to do it. And that's exactly what you got to do if you want to roster Ward, Ohtani, and Trout. I mean, they're up there. With that said, the rest of the lineup, not so much, but the rest of the lineup is really not as fun against a lefty. There's no Rendon here, guys like that. Suzuki, even somebody I wouldn't mind taking against a lefty, but he got hurt. I think he got hurt the other day, where he was like slightly unconscious. I don't know what the situation was, but yeah. So past that, it's a hard couple of clicks here, but you know, baseball not really as important for salary savings and value. And if this slate, you know, if you decide that you don't really want to get to Nestor Cortez, not like you're gonna break the bank on the rest of the pitchers. So I do think you can, you know, it's fun to be anti this price against this quality pitcher, but at the same time, salary is super subjective here. Ward, Ohtani, and Trout since the beginning of last year, WRC pluses of 170, 149, and 195. It's pretty doggone good. So I'll get to exposure of those guys. I don't know if I want to full send an Angel stack here. Obviously, I will get to Cortez if the game does get in. I want to say I want to put Cortez at a tier 3 for now. But that might go up based on the confirmed lineup, because Ohtani can definitely strike out. Trout's he's a scary at bat, but he could strike out. But they could throw a couple of more scrappy guys here. But the thing with Cortez is he can go a little bit longer too. So I'm gonna put him as a tier 3 for now, and we'll go from there. Angels a 3.5 run total. Oof. Yankees 4.7. So Yankees are pretty strong favorites here. And yeah. What up, Josh? Watch a Trout bounce back night. Definitely possible, right? Those great players, when they have like a really bad game, you know, they take it personal. They like to bounce back. So I don't think that's a crazy take. Also, it's Mike Trout. We're sipping on Star Blast today, boys. All right, White Sox at the Blue Jays. Next game on the docket. White Sox lineup is confirmed, and it features A.J. Pollock in the leadoff spot. Yesterday, we got a Yasmani Grandal sighting up there. Andrew Vaughn batting second. Jose Abreu, Luis Robert back in the lineup. That's a good sign. Jake Berger. A lot of righties. Leury Garcia in the lineup. Adam Engel, Reese McGuire, Danny Mendick. This lineup is an abomination. No Moncada, no Tim Anderson. Yeah, they've just been oof. The shining split for the White Sox though is against lefties, where they have a positive WRC plus. They're like bottom 5 in WRC plus against righties. They might even be lower than that. But against lefties, they can get it done. But that's also including Moncada and more so Tim Anderson. So this lineup will drop off a cliff really quickly. But it is a high mountaintop, I guess you would say, with Pollock, Vaughn, Abreu, Robert. So that would definitely be the death row that Ryu has to get through. And then if you can get through them, I think the bottom half of the lineup is a little bit more forgiving here. So half of this lineup is a tough day. With that said, I don't think I'm going to be that enamored with rostering Ryu today. Sorry, I had a still free. I don't think I'm going to get to Rio. 65, 78, 71 pitches the last couple of outings. Strikeout stuff just hasn't been there. If you're not going to offer strikeout potential, especially against a lineup like that, like say he gives up a couple runs to the top of the order, if you're just going to ground out the bottom of the order, I just don't know that I can erase your mistakes here and make you worth playing. 6,500, double-digit fantasy points just might be enough. But I think I'm going to sit that one out on Ryu. And I will have exposure to 1 through 4 for sure. I'm thinking of, do I want to dedicate full stacks here, or could I just put those guys in a player pool and get equal distribution? I might sit on that one. Michael Kopech coming off one of probably the greatest game of his life, right, against the Yankees. With 7 innings, 6 strikeouts, 92 pitches. So it's not like he's knocking on the door of 100 pitches, but that was a really, really good game from him, and he looked really, really, really good. And the Yankees a tough matchup, Blue Jays a really tough matchup, and in the midst of Giolito, not going 5 innings and getting beat up, he was still getting strikeouts, 8 strikeouts. So maybe there's some hope here for Kopech to get through a solid game. I wouldn't talk anyone off of him. At 9K, I would like to see that strikeout rate to righties be a lot higher than 21%. It's the lefties where he's owning a 28% K rate. If we believe in him, getting back to the mean or getting back to what we saw last year, almost a 30% K rate, then yeah, they should be coming. But man, we're tempting fate here, because this is going to be a pretty righty dominant lineup for the Blue Jays when it does come out. So if he's only going to strike out 1 and 5, this lineup is a little too dangerous for me to feel super comfortable. But I think value at the pitcher spot is going to be extremely subjective today because of how literally how few options we have. So you might even be able to live with any pitcher that gets 15 plus today might be something that's worth having exposure to. So if you think Michael Kopech could muscle his way through that and maybe hang out there for 5-6 innings and be eligible for the win for a few extra points, I don't think that's a crazy take. The White Sox have a 4.1 implied run total, Blue Jays 4.6, so it's not a massive difference between teams here. These are two teams that should be better, right? They just should be better than what they have been playing. White Sox can blame injuries. Blue Jays hit or miss with and without George Springer, but yeah. So I'm kind of lukewarm all the way around on this one. I don't think I'm going to get to any Ryu. I will probably have to get to a little Kopech. Much like Cortez, I'm probably going to put him in the tier 3 spot. I do think as the day progresses, Cortez might find his way up to a tier 2 if the weather unlocks that game. And then I think both offenses, I'll list the White Sox here, but understand that it's going to be a pretty condensed group of guys that I'm targeting for the White Sox, meaning 1 through 4, and then we'll start spinning the wheel, make a deal with some of the bottom guys. So because of that, some stacks I need to get to like 15% to feel like I'm appreciating everyone and all the range of outcomes. With this one, I think I can get to accomplish what I need to accomplish with the White Sox and probably less than 10%, probably, like 5 or 6% and get the combos I want exposure to. So that's probably something I'm going to be expected to do. Let's go bounce over to the PrizePicks board on this game and see what we might have as an option. By the way, no massive bomb ratings here, right? I guess Luis Roberts at a 4.2. Ryu has allowed almost a 1.5 home run per nine against righties in the last 2 years. OPS wise, Robert has the highest OPS against lefties and the highest ISO against lefties, so he's definitely somebody to keep an eye on in that split. And Robert, kind of like Julio Rodriguez, he'll go too, so maybe we can get his fantasy points as something to target. So let's look at Chicago. Robert is not on the board yet. So if Robert does come up on the board, we'll see if they give us a soft fantasy line on him. But I would suppose if it's less than 8, as him as a road cleanup guy with power and stolen base potential, I'd probably throw him in the mix, spin the wheel, make a deal, flex only. And then Kopech is at 4.5 strikeouts, and that is a really, really low number. Obviously, there's not a ton of free strikeouts or implied strikeouts here. I'll have to double back here when the Blue Jays do confirm a lineup. Let me make sure that they haven't. For some reason, Discord's not showing full tweets here, but I'll keep Underdog open in another tab. Mariners lineup is out. All right, cool. Did Rodriguez get a good spot? Oh, there it is right there. Batting third. Hey, I'll take it. Hey, Suarez batting 5th. Did I have Suarez batting 5th? I feel like maybe not. Oh, what was I here? I was double checking this to make sure there wasn't no Blue Jays. Doesn't look like it. All right, cool. So I'll wrap a bow, a ribbon, a string around my pinky to come back and look at that. And yeah, let's move on to the next game. Twins and Tigers. And Twins. All right, both lineups are confirmed. Kyle Garlick leading off against the lefty, folks. Oh, my projections are going to really like that. Gary Sanchez batting second. What is this? What is this? Holy. This is a no Byron Buxton lineup, but man, they start off swinging. Jermaine Palacios and then Nick Gordon. All right, it does kind of right drop off a cliff, but my goodness, Kyle Garlick, Gary Sanchez, a 1-2. Oof. Castro, let's see, Harold Castro, Jonathan Scope, Miguel Cabrera. By the way, chat, at the end of yesterday's stream, you guys let me know that you couldn't see the full window here. I believe we fixed it. But if there's stuff you can't see, let me know. Remember a couple weeks ago, somehow my whole overlay scene thing deleted, so I had to kind of like rebuild it. And there's small stuff like that I didn't really test. All right, both lineups confirmed. Straight up pick 'em here. 3.9 run total for both the Tigers and the Twins. No Bucks in the lineup for the Twins. The pitching matchup here is Ober versus Skubal. So I will say Skubal has a shot to probably be a preferred option at pitcher. Yeah, you're getting a heck of a 1-2 punch in Garlick and Sanchez to get around. You know, especially Garlick and maybe sit on a first pitch fastball, something like that. However, it is a lineup that gives you a little less oomph and a little bit more who's that in the bottom of the bottom half of the lineup. And Skubal, for all intents and purposes, if we lose Nestor Cortez, you know, Robbie Ray's still there, but Skubal has been that guy. A 2.68 expected ERA on the season, a 27% K rate, and probably one of the things that I enjoy the most about his transformation is the increasing ground ball rate. Like last year, he had a 55% ground ball rate to lefties, which was already pretty high. He's jumped that even higher to 73%, and last year against righties, a 34% ground ball rate. Not great. He's moved that up a little bit to 43% against righties. So making some actual changes, getting some actual results in terms of batted ball event data. And because of that, you know, he's gone from a 3.2, 2.5 home run per 9 guy to a 0.42. So really positive changes for him. And I think that makes him probably a pretty solid option tonight. Sorry, I had a business email. I look like a boomer. I just put that sucker all up in my face. So because of that, I think Skubal absolutely has to be. Is he a tier 1 today? Am I tripping? Skubal's a tier 1, right? Let's see, Yankees, Orioles, Blue Jays. Yeah, okay. The screen changed, and I think Skubal has to be a tier 1. All things considered here. Hoping for the best. We're still getting good bomb ratings on Garlic and Polanco, so 1, 2, 3 is still a problem. But like I said, I think this is kind of I think some of these numbers might be inflated based on last year's batted ball data because the bomb detector is a rolling, year and a half period. It's going from the beginning of last year. So there's still a chance. But I do think we have to kind of grain of salt these numbers here. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a hold of Skubal as a potential tier 1 here. Obviously, we're going to take Garlic, Sanchez, Polanco exposure. Bailey Ober on the bump for the Twins. I'm not that enthralled by him. A 5.1 expected ERA, 4.23 Sierra. Results have been fine, but yeah, we're all about advanced metrics here. And the swing and strike rate is up there for him. So maybe there's some room for progression on this K percentage. Maybe. But the barrel rate's really high, and he does maybe lose the plate a little bit against lefties here. So I'm not that enthralled by him here. So I'll probably just have some Skubal, and then Twins and Tigers fall where they might. Is the Yankee game going to play? Is that the question? That is the question. Let me see. I'm sorry, I had to skip. Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on what Roth says. I know Roth mentioned that he was a little that baseball has had some soft postponements this year. And the Yankees have definitely had some postponements, but the Yankees have also been, known to sit around in the late hours. This is an American League game, but it's not a division game. So there's probably not the makeup window is probably a little bit smaller, although you could just run a doubleheader tomorrow, but I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully it does. Hopefully. All right, let's go look at the prop boards on Tigers and Twins. I'm really more so interested in Skubal props here, see what we can run away with. We have a 5.5K prop for Skubal, or 18 outs. So 6 innings or 6 strikeouts. What do we want to sweat? Well, seems like Skubal could be a strikeout per inning. So if we got him for 6 innings, maybe not. 1 game against the Twins, 4 strikeouts. Last couple games, 5, 11. How has the individual swing and strike rate per game been. The rain isn't stopping, AJ. Well, that's a good, good boots on the ground reporting. Last game against Minnesota, 10.6% swing and strike rate, but I wonder if Bucky was in that lineup. I don't know. I might take a stab at this 5.5. They threw out Larnack, Celestino, Correa. I mean, this was a god awful lineup, but I guess there was a little less implied strikeout potential. There was no Buxton, no Gary, no Garlic, so it's not the same lineup. We can't really chase the results. I'm somewhat interested, I'll say, in the 5.5 strikeouts. What else can we get on Scoogle? So I hate the 18 outs. That's like my most hated pitcher prop. It's because most pitchers, if they go 6 strong, you know, if they're at 90 pitches, whatever, a lot of times the skipper will just pull them. Hey, job well done. Hit the showers. Maybe 33 fantasy points is the way to go. I don't know. I'll put maybe. I'll put an asterisk here, meaning I'm not for sure. We'll go over 5.5 Ks. Let me just one more look at this Twins lineup. That's all right. Strikeout, 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 strikeout. That's 4 strikeouts that if you pitch 3 times through the order, he should get at least once, right? Mathematically. I don't know who Palacios is. I know Richard Palacios. I don't know if this kid's related to him. The Richie Palacios, is he for the Guardians? I don't know if they're related, but in the minors, I'm doing the most, trying to project strikeouts here. We've got 38 strikeouts in 149 at bats, so that's not abnormal. Well. Yeah, I mean, weather's funky though, right? The game's not supposed to be for another 3 hours. You just never know. They just need a small window over a stadium to open up at some point, even if they delayed a couple hours. So you just really don't know. That's one thing I don't try to do is try to pretend to be the weather guy, right? I just trust the people that have degrees for that crap, and then obviously people that are there like AJ. You can just look out the window. Yep, it's raining. Yankee Stadium, I think, is pretty solid with their weather management. Like, meaning their field can take a beating and not like, I don't know, San Diego's not going to, like, back up. So, maybe. All right. I guess there's really nothing I could feel great about for Scooble. 93.5 pitches thrown. 100, 102. 2 of his last 3. That Cleveland game, just 66. Did he hurt his shin in that game? Left leg contusion after exiting Friday's game against the Guardians. All right, so that was a game where he got hit by a comebacker. So maybe there's some maybe there's something there if you want to sweat pitch counts for Scooble, right? Last couple games he has a shot at 100. There was just a unfortunate comebacker, so at 93.5 pitches, but it's also kind of a weird line. I think I'll take the plunge on strikeouts, but I'd be somewhat interested in fantasy points as well. Let me do some quick math. Calculator. Smooth calculator. It did slow down by 8 though, so chance rains are 9. Yeah, AJ, it's tricky, right? And then sometimes if the rain's light enough, they'll just play through it. So it's really us guessing what other grown adults are gonna do. All right, let's do some math. Let's give him his 18 outs. Let's give Scooble his six innings. So, what am I looking for? Oh, pitcher. So we'll give him 18 points. We'll give him 5 Ks plus 15. That's 33 right there. That's without a quality start, without a win. And if he gives up an earning or two, that's, minus 3. So the win is 6. So if he gets the win, we can get rid of 2 earned runs. Quality starts 4. All right. I'm thinking fantasy points is the move. Because fantasy points would just be 6 innings, 5 strikeouts. I'm doing it. Without earnings, obviously. And I do think there's an errant home run or 2 that's possible. So I'm just hoping for the quality start. Tariq Skubal, 33.5 FPS. And on the other side, Bailey Ober. Man, both the Tigers suck just enough that I don't want to really take a side here. So I won't. Let's head on to the Red Sox game. We do have a confirmed Red Sox lineup. Franchi Cordero, excuse me. Batting leadoff, that's what you want. JD Martinez, Xander Bogaerts, Verdugo, Trevor Story, Christian Vasquez. In the 7th spot, Jackie Bradley Jr. All right, so this is a different version of the Twins lineup. 9-hole Bobby Dalbec, man. He is the right-handed Joey Gallo. 9-hole woes, not hitting for average, still possesses pop, but strikes out a ridiculous amount of times. And then for the Reds, they got Hunter Green on the bump. Hunter Green, big velo guy on this fastball. His Sierra is Sierra's at 4, expected ERA 4.78. He's had a couple blow up games with and holding a 12% barrel rate on the season, but he's also had a couple spike games, so he seems like the ultimate tournament pitcher for both sides of the spectrum if you want to scum dacker that one. 6, 9, 6, 7 strikeouts, and then the earned run column all over the place as well. And I think the thing with his fastball is if it doesn't move, or if hitters are going to cheat on it, sit on it, they're just looking fastball. You just got to calibrate your swing here. So let's pull up the pitch report in the rundfs.com MLB VIP spreadsheet and grade that pitch out. So that his fastball's got a minus 3.64 runs created rating on that pitch per 100 pitches. So it's actually a negatively graded fastball for a guy that can throw 102. That's incredible, right? Velo's not everything. It's a lot of things. On this incarnation of the Red Sox lineup, we have just 3 hitters with plus runs created per 100 pitches. And that's Rafi Devers, JD Martinez, Xander Bogaerts. That's fair. He's backing that up with a slider. Devers and Bogaerts both profile pretty decently against that. So Devers is looking like a premium option here against Hunter Green. So that might be something we keep in mind as we hunt for fantasy points. Also keep in mind for DFS. The Red Sox have a 5.2 implied run total. Backing up Hunter Green is a below average bullpen, and I believe that last Hunter Green start was the game where they was that the game where the offense scored 20 runs? Yeah, so he might have had a little bit longer release. 84 pitches in that game. I think I don't know, man. This is the ultimate tournament slate where you see so many ranges of outcomes. Like, you can still see those spike Hunter Green games coming, and this Red Sox team it's not quite where the White Sox are, or even the Blue Jays are for me in terms of expectations, because I've just kind of grown to not believe in them. But even in their struggles, like Devers, Martinez, and Xander are having like solid seasons at the plate. It's everybody else, but the last couple games for the Red Sox have been pretty disappointing. It's a little different lineup here, so it's the main lane that I'd be targeting. Devers, JD, and Xander. But if you wanted to include Franchi and Verdugo in the mix, I think that's only fair, and Trevor Story as well. So 1 through 6 certainly profiles as a stackable team here. So we're going to add them to the stack list. And I'm going to have to meditate on whether or not I want to take a shot on Hunter Green and, try and get that Castillo game, because Louis Castillo went bananas yesterday, but his underlying metrics haven't been quite as alarming, and he also has, a little bit more big league experience here. So Green is still trying to fill out the pros. And Fenway Park is a really tough park to get away with in. And I also think, wasn't that the game yesterday that had 50-degree weather? It looks like it's still in the 50s for this one as well, so not quite as high as some other spots. So maybe that fastball won't quite have the same zip as it would in like 90-degree weather, but at the same time, maybe it won't fly off the bat quite the same. Garrett Whitlock on the bump for the Red Sox. Dude, I don't know that I've dropped and picked up a player more than I've dropped and picked up Garrett Whitlock in season long ever. Like, I feel like I've gone through 4 rotations with the man, and I'm tempted to. I haven't dropped him from last week. I picked him up last week against Baltimore, and it was only 4 Ks, 2 earnings. I didn't get the strikeouts I was looking for, but like I'm tempted to kind of hang on to him today before I let him loose again, because this is a bad Reds lineup. At least the projected one is, with a lot of 1 in 5 or better strikeout potential and not a lot of barrel rates. Votto's on here, but a lot of this stuff is juiced from last year and an excellent season last year. This year has been a little bit more lackluster here, so I do think Whitlock at 7K has me a good shot at a pretty decent floor, 5-6 innings, and then maybe a strikeout per inning because of the matchup. But I am waiting on a confirmed lineup here. 3.6 is the run total for the Reds. So I think we'll definitely get to some Whitlock in DFS. So we'll add him to the tier 3. And then what do we do for prop betting? Let's pull up Boston. Whitlock's at 4.5 Ks. They're trying to get me, guys. They're trying to do it. I'll jot it down for now. But if you're gonna give me a full lineup of Reds with less than 2 guys under a 20% K rate, or less than, with 2 guys under a 20% K rate, I'd probably take my chances here. So I'll put an asterisk in front of him as well to remind myself to come back later. But we'll go over, what did we say, 4.5 Ks? I think is the one. Yeah, 16.5 outs. That was also interesting, but his pitch count hasn't been great because I don't know that they intended for him to be a full starter. So I don't want to get too crazy with betting outs or anything like that. So I'll just take the strikeouts for now and hope for the best. And then Hunter Green, I don't know what they're putting on the board, but I do want to look at Rafi Devers, what we might be able to get on him. I give him 5.5 Ks. That's just like right on the combustible elements. 23.5 fantasy, 2 walks. Has he been walking? Sometimes these velo guys, yeah, 15% walk rate to lefties, 9% walk rate to righties, and usually that is a big bugaboo for these super velo guys. I would imagine it was the same in the minors as well. Let's see. He had 39 walks and 106 innings. Yeah. So maybe we'll this I didn't want to take too many walk props yesterday. I only ended up taking Charlie Morton. That hit. I do think two is probably a push more than it's not. I think my early plan with walks is not to get above 2, but I guess I could still push at 2. So I guess 2.5 would be the limit. But I doubt they'll put a lot of 2.5. So I would ideally like to see 1.5s. But I guess you could justify Hunter Green's 2 walks. But I don't like that. So the other guy I want to look at here is Devers. So since this lineup is confirmed, don't love the weather here, but 8.5 fantasy points or 1.5 total bases. So just mentioned that Devers' profile is just incredibly against all of the pitches for Hunter Green, including that fastball. Devers with a 1 run created per 100 at bats or 100 pitches, almost 1.5 against the slider. Those are the 2 main pitches for Hunter Green, and then the changeup he smacks as well. So I do think it's a good spot on paper for Devers. So I might be able to justify something here for Devers in terms of the fantasy points or the total bases. So I'm thinking total bases. because if he hits this fantasy score, I mean, I don't think he's a stolen base threat. I think he'd be more of a power guy. I'll double check though. But I don't think of Devers as a stolen base guy. I'm gonna say, so if he hits the fantasy score, he'd probably hit a double or a homer, right? So I'd probably take the total bases here. He has 1 stolen base on the season against a lefty. So I probably take I'm probably just gonna go ahead and jot down total bases here. Hopefully he doesn't draw 4 walks in a run, right? Which he might. Devers over 1.5. Because I think there's a way he could hit a double and not hit the 8.5, right? A double is just 5. Heck, you get a double and a single and still get F there. So I'll take the total bases here just because of the archetype that Devers is as a baseball player. Makes sense. Let me get caught up on chat. Sorry, boys. Boston's batting against righties. I like Green tonight. I think it's fair to like Hunter Green. Like I said, for me, my interest in the Red Sox is pretty isolated to these 3. Green is just a wide range of outcomes pitcher, though. I'll take good pitches against the Red Sox. I really don't like to play bad pitchers against anybody, but I still got enough respect for the middle of this lineup that I don't want to get too crazy with it. But Green has the range of outcome to have a big strikeout night, so I definitely want to talk you off of him. And pitching sucks today, so at that price, I don't mind it. What up, Dexter? What up, Cheyenne? What up, Chris? Reed Detmers over 4.5 hits is the most likely probability in PrizePicks props. I think that's I agree with that. I just keep an eye on the weather. But yeah, I do like that because he doesn't strike anybody out. And we did see, I don't know, man. Thor got yanked, but we saw the bullpen warm up early, even in the first inning, right? So maybe. But I do like that call, Dexter. I think that's a great call, actually. I just would have to say keep a big eye on weather. Where's that other hits allowed? Reed. I just figured he would be at 5, but 4.5. Yeah, that's really low. That's a good call. If how about this? Nah, I'd take him 4. I was gonna say if he gave up some hits early, right? It would be Judge and LeMahieu, and then at that point, would we just take the first inning over 1.5? Because we're also still getting Ohtani and Trout. You know what I mean? Do they give us 1.5? That's been my new favorite prop is the 1.5 first inning hits. Because a lot of times if we're chasing for first inning run over, a lot of times it's going to be off the, you can get the solo shot, but a lot of times you'll get 2 hits involved with it. The 1.5 hits for the Yankees Angels could be interesting. So let's first inning hits. And then again, remember weather, so Yankees Angels over 1.5. He's either on or bad. Yeah, AJ, that's the Hunter Green experience. So that's the perfect scumdacker spot. Vegas has Detmers prop up -175. Yeah, it's a good bet. Buxton's sitting for the Twins. Yeah, Buxton's been playing very sporadically. It feels like I don't know if they're managing an injury or what. But I'll say this: the Twins have 30 wins, and I didn't think they were bad, but I tweeted out last night. I tweeted out the baseball standings because the Yankees have the best. Whatever, it's who cares, right? But the Twins have 30 wins, right? So it feels like they're struggling. It really does. And I guess if you look at the last 10 games or whatever, they are. But heck, 30 wins, man. If you can manage Buxton and still be a winning ball club, especially in the AL Central, hey, do you? So I can't knock them. I can't knock them. No Springer for Toronto. All right, cool. Let's go back and let's punch that lineup in, I guess. If I have it. Dude, I don't know why Discord's acting up for me and showing tweets. Dang, Kyle Lewis is already back down. Espinal, Bo Bichette, Vladdy, Teoscar, Alejandro, Lourdes Gurriel, Matt Chapman, Danny Jansen. Oh man, double catcher lineup, eh? I don't know if that's going to change anything, but I do think the Blue Jays without Springer is obviously a net negative. So maybe, I don't know. I don't even want to say first inning no runs because I don't trust Ryu like that. Is Kirk a righty or a lefty? I think he might be a lefty. Let's see. Kirk. Captain Kirk with 2 dingers yesterday. Yeah, he's a righty. All right, cool. All right, it doesn't change much because I don't. It's not like that opens up a first run inning prop for me. I guess it does make Kopech a little bit more viable. Unless you think Kirk is going to hit 2 homers every day. Every day? Any thoughts about the weather in Boston? Hey, I just go off of what Ross says, man. We'll do another refresh here. I guess the main takeaway for weather in Boston for me is that it's like 50 degrees. So it's a little less hitter friendly. But for the most part, it looks like it's gonna play. But unless you're talking about like temperature wise, that's not really affected me much. What up, Chuck? Screwed up my CSV for early slate, and it may help me. I got 70 stacks from 3 afternoon games and 40% Marlins pitchers, 2% owned. Dang, is he going off? You guys see that game out of Sandy Alcantara the other day? Yeah. That was one of my keepers in season long. I was happy to see that. Let's see what's going on in the early slate. Dude, DK Live has a chance to be like the best thing on the internet, but it's the worst thing. Like we got all these KBO guys. Oh, you got stuck with a Coors pitcher. Look at you. You donk you, Edward Cabrera. 6 Ks through 3. He's one of their high prospect guys, so he's supposed to be good. But yeah, that would have been a risky click out there. And of course, good stuff, Chuck. Good stuff. I hope it works for you. Quincy says I would love to play a Yankees mini stack. I think you can. I mean, Quincy, like don't speak in absolutes yet until you get the weather right. I think if they delay the game, it's probably a good sign. If you see a delay before a postponement, it's a good sign. Otherwise, they would probably just go straight to the postponement. And the Yankees are pretty good about tweeting about their plans, right? There's some teams that have been a lot more sus, but until that happens, I wouldn't give up on it. Just have a plan. What up, Tizzle-Main? You doing all right? Tyrone Taylor should be played everywhere. He's on the Brewers. It's 50 degrees in Coors as well. Yeah. All right, where are we at? We're on the right game, right? Cubs. I put Whitlock in the pool. I did tier 3. We might move him up, but so if it is gonna be drizzling though, sometimes a light rain, a little lather on a pitcher might be a little dangerous for grip purposes. Jason Alexander taking on Kyle Hendricks in Wrigley. And Wrigley, it looks like it's a non-win game. If anything, there's a slight breeze blowing in. I have no intel on Alexander, so we're going to have to see if we can get some information on him in the minors. So, there's a lot of Alexanders. Why did I do that? Isn't there like an actor named Jason Alexander? 29 years old. So he might be a journeyman, not great guy, but we'll see. 2.64 ERA, 47 innings, 33 strikeouts. So big contact numbers there. 109 whip. So I would assume he's probably like a big ground ball pitcher if he's got a low whip and way less than a strikeout per inning. You would think. Let's split it up. Against lefties, 18.2 innings, 13 Ks, 1.53 ground out to air out ratio, and then 28.2 innings against righties, 20 Ks, almost a 3 ground out to, so he's a big ground ball pitcher. Homers, 1 homer in 18 innings, 1 homer in 28 innings. So what would be a good comp for that, chat? Big righty ground ball pitcher, not a big strikeout guy. Maybe maybe Chris Flexen or like a Marcus Stroman type, but less power. So because of the lack of strikeout stuff, he's not super interesting for tournaments, but he might play some spoiler. 7 innings, 5 innings, 6 innings. He might be really sneaky if we get a low fantasy line on him, because he might steal a quality start. Let's see, pitcher fantasy. They don't have Alexander on here, do they? No, they don't. Okay, cool. Sometimes those guys can steal 6 innings, get you a quality start. They might be underpriced because they're, who's that? But that's not the case here. So with that said, I guess there's not really a. See, he's not even in the player pool. I guess there's nothing to do with him. Just whether or not we pick on him or not. It looks like the answer for me is probably gonna be not, if he's gonna sustain this ground ball rate. And no special weather boost for Wrigley here. 57 degrees there. It's pretty modest temperatures. So he might be able to eat half this game and then dip into that bullpen, and it might be a plus opportunity for them to steal a win here against this Cubs team that might feed you a couple strikeouts, but we'll see. Kyle Hendricks on the bump for the Cubs here. Hendricks, a 4.82 Sierra, 5.43 expected ERA, 1.34 whip, and a sub 16% strikeout rate. Against lefties, he is allowed a 2.67 home run per 9 with a 46% fly ball rate, 22.7% line drive rate. So there are plenty of lefties to pick out of this Brewers lineup to like. Colton Wong, Christian Yelich, Rowdy Tellez. It's been a while since he's made some noise. Maybe Omar Narvaez and Jace Peterson. Not a power guy, former Yankee great, but I swear he has like 2 homers in the last couple days, and I'm just like, huh? You could do that? Yeah, you get 2 homers on the 30th and the 29th. So a little power surge. He's got 5 on the year. Look at Jace on base. Shout out to him. This is just kind of a super wash where I don't even think we can play Alexander. I don't want to play Kyle Hendricks. I'll probably grab a couple bats here from the Brewers and then move along. All right. You guys got anything special here? I don't want to play Hendricks. We could see what the prop board is on Hendricks though, or just Chicago in general. Chicago Cubs, is that the Wilson Contreras is 6.5. That's interesting, but he's a ground ball pitcher, so I don't want to deal with that. Hendricks is at 3.5 strikeouts, 2.5 earned runs. I'd be somewhat curious with the earned runs, I guess. Two starts against the Brewers, 7 earnies. All that came from one game, though, huh? I'd be somewhat curious with the earned runs, but that I probably don't go there. Just because I don't want to get like an error rob me a earned run. I can't wait for that beat. There's gonna be somebody in our community that's sweating like $1,000 on earned runs, and there's gonna be like an error, and it's gonna be like unearned runs come in, and then they don't get the bet, Supposedly Brewers third baseman poops on Kendrick BVP wise. come on, Tizzle. You know I'm not a BVP guy, but I'll look at it for you. Kyle Hendricks. Let's see. 2 homers for Colton Wong. 2 homers for Yelich. Chase Peterson has. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's interesting. That's just funny because we were talking about him. But yeah, there's some positive numbers historically for these guys against Kyle Hendricks. So maybe that would boost the earned run potential. Maybe they list a line later on, like a fantasy line that we could take the under on. They didn't give us much, just strikeouts and earnings. I don't want to bet 3.5 strikeouts because he might get one on accident. But the earned runs, I'm like, the gut reaction here is to say the over. But we'll see. Jason Alexander, George Costanza. I thought so. All right, let's move on. Rangers in the Rays. Jeffrey Springs taking on John Gray. Do we have these lineups? By the way, where are we at? We're at 3:13. We're vibing on time, like really good on time. But I want to remind you guys at the top of the hour, Josh is going to do the WNBA prop stream. So if you haven't dabbled in WNBA, they did a card yesterday on the air. It was a 4-pick power, and it hit. So that was good. So if you guys are interested in picking up a new sport or adding to your WNBA content consumption diet, look out for that. We do have lineups for this game, though, so I'm going to get them entered. Vidal, Brujan. Rangers, Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, Mitch Garver, Cole Calhoun, Adolis Garcia, Sam Huff, Nathaniel Lowe. And John Gray. All right, cool. 3.9 implied run total for the Rays. 3.8 on the Rangers. They must have the roof closed. This is pretty low run totals today compared to last couple days. Springs on the bump for the Rays. So what's a pitch count that's fair for Springs? Because I have dabbled with his strikeout prop lately. 80. So 80 pitches looks like the number. So in 80 pitches, maybe 4 or 5 innings. What could we do with a 29% K rate against the Rangers at 6,200? I think we play a little bit of that on DraftKings out of the SP2 spot. So let's put Jeffrey Springs. And then are they giving us a K prop here? 5 strikeouts? Freaking A. That's probably on the button of comfort at an 80 pitch projection. I will say 80 pitches is above the 78.5 line that they got for him. So maybe I'd be more inclined to take that number, because it does look like they've started stretching him in the right direction. But they might have a limit at 80, since 80 is the exact number in the last 2 games. I don't know. Anybody see anything on Jeffrey Springs pitch count? Jeffrey Springs pitch count. No articles. Stretch out. May 8th. That's too long ago. Nothing recent, huh? Just wanted to see, some guys have a they don't want to overwork them, so that 80, I'll say that 78.5 pitch prop is interesting. I probably won't add it though. And that strikeout prop is nice too because of how good he is. But man, five strikeouts on an 80 pitch projection is right on the button for me. So I probably just leave it alone in the parlay setting. I'd probably take a shot at it on a 1-to-1. I guess it probably could push, but I don't know. John Gray on the bump here for the Rangers. He has been okay results-wise at home. A 2.34 xFIP was also on his side at home. A 31% K rate at the house. The average is a little more than what you want. Wonder if that's the product of bad luck. So let's go look at his BABIP. Here, what up, EB? Just won the early slate for 10,000. No shot, really? Yo, you want to send me a link? I'll put you on the screen. Let's look at your lineup. If you you can put in chat, or maybe if you're in Discord, you can DM it to me, or on Twitter. Send it to me. I'll take a look at it, bro. That's awesome, man. What was I doing? I was looking at BABIP, right, for John Gray. Splits. Control. Almost somehow. Here we go. BABIP. I don't even remember typing that. It's got a 471 BABIP at home. That's probably not sustainable with a 2.34 xFIP. So I don't know if they shift a lot or he's just massively unlucky. Maybe not a ton of innings of sample size. So far home away has been on his side. I'm cool with that. And then the overall Sierra and expected ERA, not so much on his side. But I'll tell you what, the Rays are something I can get around, and this is a no Wander Franco version of the Rays lineup. So, how about this? How about we think about no run first inning? What do you guys think? First inning runs allowed. Let's go Rays and Rangers under a run. So let's put that next to hits. First inning runs. We'll go Rays, Rangers under half a run. Let's see. Y'all are dumb. Why would we be mad at you, Chris? I'd be proud. I'm happy when y'all win. I'm pretty lukewarm on everything involved with this game. Springs is pretty solid. John Gray. I mean, this Rays lineup is kind of uninspiring. There's two guys with a 200 plus ISO. One of them strikes out 40% of the time. So I think I might even justify a little John Gray in my life here. A little bit. So let's promote Garrett Whitlock to a tier 2. And we'll put John Gray here. And stack wise, I'm okay without anything here. I think I just cherry pick from this game. Yeah. And we'll move on. I guess before I move on, let's do some plugs here. If you guys have been noticing, I've been bouncing back and forth from the DFS research to also the prop betting side of things, and really the PrizePicks side. But we have deals with PrizePicks and Underdog, and Underdog is a really cool site. Not only do Underdog do prop betting picks, stuff like that, but they also have best ball, and that's what their bread and butter is. So if you guys haven't joined Underdog yet, you plan to do so, I would definitely give it a shot. Use that link that's in chat. And what did I just do? Did they just change the website in the middle of the refresh there? That's actually, I mean, that looks good. Oh, dude, this is so convenient. Yo, did they just deploy this in the middle of everything that I was? Bro, this is actually really convenient. They list all the props for one guy instead of listing a bunch of different cards. All right, so they just did that. I literally just hit refresh and this popped out. So shout out to Underdog making that adjustment. So anyway, there's two links in chat. If you guys haven't signed up for either site and you want to do so, if you use those links, it is a good way to support me. But it's also a cool way to get double your first deposit up to $100, and then you guys don't have to play through it. You don't have to slow drip. I mean, obviously you have to play it, but all right, let's pull up E-Dubs or EB's lineup. He sent it to me in on Twitter. He had Carrasco as his pitcher, Goldie as his catcher first baseman, Owen Miller as the second baseman, Nolan Arenado with a homer and 3 for 4 for him as his third baseman, Andre Jimenez, Josh Naylor, just a walk, Juan Yepez, Stephen Kwan, and Luke Voigt down there. So it's a Cardinals stack, right? 1, 2, 3 Cardinals, a bunch of Guardians as well. 4 Guardians, 3 Cardinals, and Luke Voigt. Simple process, right? I need money, 404. Well, there you go. Good job, EB, man. I'm happy for you. Take the misses out. You know how it goes. What is best ball? So solid picks, man. Best ball is kind of like, it's like season long without the weekly grind, right? You do one draft for the whole year, and then you come back in a year and hope you made money in the most lamest of terms. But it's really cool. And the best ball contest they got, man, there's some real money on that, right? There's like, I'm talking millions of dollars, literally millions of dollars. No joke. They have Best Ball Mania 2, 1 million to the highest scoring team through round 1, and then of course several other contests with a ton of money. Like they have a Best Ball Puppy contest. It's a $5 entry, $75K to first. So if you love season long, you love the thrill of drafting, having that board already, all that good stuff, but then you find yourself getting a little lazy week to week. You don't want to be up at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday to play waiver wire. This is kind of like what you should get behind, and you know, people study the schedules, the matchups, blah 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 blah. It gets really meticulous. There's a lot of great best ball content out there, so I think Underdog is definitely the leaders in the space for the best ball product. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff there. I would like to build a team, a football content team, to kind of, you know, do some more content here and maybe some live drafts on the stream and all that good stuff. So I am looking. Made my biggest money on there last year doing snake drafts for NFL. Yeah, I wish snake drafts for basketball were more viable, but obviously with how news intense the sport is, it's not. But I did intend on this week doing Underdog snake drafts for baseball. So maybe on, man, actually I think I said I was going to do that yesterday and I didn't. Maybe on Friday. I can look at the schedule on Friday. Friday's usually a massive slate. It's usually the big Friday night slate where like almost every team plays. Maybe on Friday night we'll do a chat, or Friday afternoon we'll do a chat snake draft for baseball, and that'll be a lot of fun. So get on that. Use the link in chat, and then we'll do something like that and have some fun. Chris says I'm gonna be talking like Ric Flair cutting a promo. Whether you like it or not, you're gonna learn to love it. Woo! My shoes cost more than your house. Woo! He said, what was that line they used? He said, these shoes are gator skin, and I'm having a hard time keeping them down. Woo! It's just, I love Ric Flair. Devin says, Seager, lefty violence maker. Used to play for that Texas game. I can get behind that. Springs has definitely allowed some homers to lefties. Seager definitely hits lefties with great ISO, great OPS. I think it's a really fun call. I don't mind that. All right, main event, and then we'll go back. We'll tidy up some lineups, and maybe we'll try and key in on a few more props. Pirates at the Dodgers. I don't have lineups for either team yet. Pirates out here stealing some wins against the Dodgers. Jose Quintana taking on Mitch White. That's a matchup. Is it just me? Is this game a little earlier? I got it at 8:10 p.m. Eastern. I feel like they're usually at like 9 or 10. So maybe it's a little bit warmer, more hitter-friendly for them, if I'm not mistaken. Dodgers have a 5.7 implied run total. That's a lot. So, yeah, we're going to be stacking Dodgers. I think that goes without saying. We don't have to do a whole lot of hard research on that one. And I really don't have interest in either pitcher. I'm definitely unlikely to play Quintana. Mitch White... I'll tell you what, with Mitch White, there's a method to being a little sneaky if this Pirates lineup comes out pretty platoon heavy, meaning, a lot of lefties, because Mitch White's positive split has actually been against lefties this year and last year, where he's been kind of reverse splits. Last year, almost a 4 xFIP and a 5+ xFIP so far this season against righties, but against lefties, he's been a sub 4 xFIP with a 1-4 K rate. And keeping the ball on the ground. So maybe there's some loose justification for Mitch White in like tournaments tonight. Like I said, I think pitcher is pretty bad overall today. So we're really, one, hoping for positive points out of pitcher, and two, I think that 10 to 20 fantasy point window on DraftKings is just kind of what I'm settling for. So I'll probably have a pretty open and diverse pitching player pool today. And yeah, Mitch White doesn't have a deep pitch count really to bank on anyway. So if I don't get to pitching in this game, I think that's fine. I'm not going to add him to my pitcher pool now. I think I got enough names to work with. Yeah, so we'll keep it like that, and then we're looking at the bullpen to hold this one over. So give me some Dodger stacks. I'm okay in living life without all of this red. So that's how I'm going to play that. So Dodgers, yes. Pirates, no. Pitching, no. And then we can go back. We can juice up some of these lineups that we didn't have, throw them in the mix, see if that changes anything fundamentally for us. And then if you guys got any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that you want to look at, I've got a little bit of time here. I have to get off the airwaves by the top of the hour because we're gonna we got the WNBA show to throw at you, but we got plenty of time in the meantime to look at stuff. All right, Mariners lineup was as projected. We'll also look at the bomb detector. Angels lineup is out. Taylor Ward, Ohtani, Trout, Duffy, Rengifo, Jared Walsh batting 6th. Kurt Suzuki in the lineup. That's a good sign. That man was literally knocked out. Good for him. I like him. All right, especially against lefties, he's pretty solid. 194 ISO, 15% K rate, so not a ton of strikeouts to be had here. But that's the story of Nestor Cortez. When there's not strikeouts to be had, he gets them. Reds lineup is out. Senzel, Brandon Drury's batting 2nd. Tommy Pham, Joey Votto, Tyler Stevenson, Kyle Farmer, Moustakas, Almora, Matt Reynolds. Brewers, nothing. All right, so all of the lineups are up. So with that said, let's reset the bond detector here. See what's popping. Cabrera 8Ks through 4. Woo! Let's go, Chuck. Let me see something. Let's see if anyone in my season long has Edward Cabrera, because he is definitely going to be good. Add players. I took my second L last week. Edward. Oh, he's a free agent. All right, cool. If I'm not mistaken, this is one of their big prospect guys. But I wonder if he's up just for the doubleheader. All right, I'll hold off on that. But he is really. He was. I played a lot of MLB The Show, and they add a lot of prospects into that game. And yeah, maybe I should have. I didn't have enough foresight to look at him today. Dude, I have my lineups out today. I got Donaldson, Bryant, Peralta. I picked up Shane Baz to stash him because I think he's gonna come up pretty soon. I was thinking about grabbing Cabrera. I'll sit that one out. Pirates way too good for the Dodgers. Yeah, man. Pirates are elite. I feel like elite teams always have that one pesky team that gives them fits, right? Sometimes the Yankees can't quite get behind the Orioles with ease. Maybe the Pirates are that team for the Dodgers. Look at Marcano first 2 games. He's been going ham. I don't know if I'm gonna chase that, but it wasn't Tucapita. Trout has been brutally bad the last week. It's Mike Trout. He'll be aight. Chris says, am I wrong for playing Skubal and Robbie Ray? No, those are 2 of my top ranked pitchers, I guess. Cortez, I think that weather might just keep me off balance with him. But I think I'm going to have the most exposure to Scooble. Robbie Ray's going to be up there, hoping to keep the ball in the park. Whitlock has been promoted. Positive weather, positive lineup. Speaking of lineup, let me go reassess this Reds lineup since it is a little bit different than the projected lineup. Reds. 22. All right, so there are two guys in this lineup with a sub 20% K rate, but it's Kyle Farmer and Nick Senzel. Senzel, 0.082 ISO since the beginning of last year against righties, with a sub 3 bomb rating. So I'm fine with I'm gonna stay there on Whitlock as a tier 2. So YOLO. All right, bomb detector. There's a bunch of 15 and 23 innings that are jacking this up, but the Seattle righties are going to be up there. We mentioned Bradish against righties so far has been really, really struggling. So you're going to see Suarez up here, Ty France up there, and then where's Julio Rodriguez? I thought he would be at the top there. What's his rating? He's at a 4.12, so I guess he's still above 4. There he is. The Red Sox righties are up there. Hunter Green is hit or miss. Kyle Garlick against the lefty in the leadoff spot. Kind of anti our Scooble take. A lot of this is based on batted ball data from last year. Really for both sides here, but especially for Scooble. He last year was keeping the ball on the ground a little less. And then, it's a pretty run-of-the-mill bomb detector at the top. A lot of 4+s though, but a lot of it is attached to short sample size. So it is what it is. I want to do a little bit more digging on PrizePicks. You guys got any special PrizePicks plays? I guess we can look at the grand scope of it all now, but the short list that I had was going to go after Bradish 4 strikeouts. I'm thinking about Scooble's 5.5 Ks, but I think I might lean the fantasy points a little bit more. Whitlock over 4.5 Ks. Now that lineup's out, I'd probably take the plunge, although I am somewhat concerned about his pitch count, right? Same reason about Jeffrey Springs. 84 pitches, is that kind of enough? I guess the pushback to Springs is at 5. With Whitlock, I'm hope to get to 5. With Springs, I can see him getting to 5 and 80, and then I'm sweating whether or not he overs that. But maybe we settle on the push. But that Reds lineup does not really do much to scare me. So what else do we have? I had Julio Rodriguez over 7.5 fantasy points. Just a righty taking advantage of those righty splits with a positive lineup spot, right? Batting third, so he's going to get that guaranteed first inning at bat. He's going to get all 9 innings, so he probably gets 4 or 5 at bats. And not only does he project well for power, but we know when he gets on base, he can still hit back. So I kind of like him for fantasy. Total bases, Devers, we're talking about him being a positively graded against all of Hunter Green's pitches. He's also in a positive lineup spot. I think batting third. Batting second. Yeah, even better. In front of JD Martinez. So I like him over 1.5 total bases. I'm willing to take the bases there because his outs, meaning like the poker version of his outs here, whereas Rodriguez can still base stuff like that. I think for Devers, he's rarely going to run. He's only got 1 stolen base on the year, so we'll go with his 1.5 total bases. Yankees Angels over 1.5 hits. This is kind of a ode to Dexter. He brought up Detmer's over 4.5 hits allowed. I think it's very. I think that's a good line, and then also it gives us exposure to really some of the best hitters in baseball. If this game does tip off, Taylor Ward, Ohtani, Trout, LeMahieu, Judge, Rizzo, 2 hits out of that. Yeah, I'll take my shot. So I'll take the over 1.5 hits there. First inning runs, I'm going to go Rangers under half a run. But Nakrizi does have me a little bit spooked on that Corey Seager call because that is a good observation with the lefty splits for Springs being what it is. So that's interesting. But I guess we'll look at the overall. Pitching outs. Whitlock's at 16.5, so that's right in the middle of 5 innings. Hunter Green, same. I hate the 18 out pitch prop. Strikeouts overall, nothing alarming that we didn't already know about. 3 Ks for Variety Solo. Kopech the same. 4.5 for Kopech. against the non-Springer version of this lineup. It's still not a big strikeout lineup, but we saw Giolito get to like 8 strikeouts, so that's a maybe. But I probably don't attach that risk to a parlay setting. But I don't hate that bet. Somewhere I'd probably take a shot on if it was decent odds as a 1-to-1, close to 1-to-1, over 4.5, Scooble 5.5. I'm on Scooble, but I think I'm going to end up more so on the fantasy points. Quintana's at 4Ks, Mitch White's at 4Ks. The Quintana under is intriguing if the lineup is right. What's Quintana's strikeout stuff to righties this year? 18.9%. What a 10. His swing and strike rate is actually higher than I thought it would be. Total home runs. Any good triangles? Judge, Glaber, Rizzo. That's a fun one. Trout, Ohtani, Stassi. Betts, Turner, Will Smith, Devers, Story, Bogart. So a couple fun ones there. I'm not going to add any of them. I think the only fantasy line I want to take for pitchers is going to be Scooble. Robbie Ray's intriguing, but 38 is up there. What was his strikeout prop? Robbie Ray. 7.5. Yeah, maybe the fantasy line is better for Robbie Ray. I don't want to sweat 7.5 strikeouts. Pitches thrown, no. Earned runs allowed, no. But I don't hate the thought of Hendricks over 2.5. Right, that's probably it. Hits allowed. Probably staying away from that. Walks allowed. Any big walk guys? Ray. I feel like Ray can walk guys. 1.5 is I think that's my commitment here. Is I don't want to ever bet 2 or more. Like yesterday, I was on Charlie Morton 1.5. Robbie Ray 1.5 is interesting. He has a 9.4% walk rate to righty so far this season. That's a maybe, but I'll probably stay away just because it is a swing happy, strikeout happy Orioles lineup. That's it for that. What has Underdog got for us on some props? Suarez is at 6.5 fantasy points. So Suarez is the top guy in the bomb detector, right? Yeah, that's fun. So let's make I guess we'll make an underdog list too. By the way, chat, if you guys are just here for the fantasy stuff and you're getting out of here, just hit that thumbs up for me on the way out. And maybe hit that sub button if you haven't already. So for underdog, we'll do Eugenio Suarez over 6.5 fantasy. I need to see if their fantasy is linear to PrizePicks and Fanduel. So singles 3. I think the single and walk difference is the main one that I need to keep an eye on. 3 points for a single, 2 points for a walk on PrizePicks. I think Fanduel is 3 points for a walk, so sometimes that could be a little bit misleading. On underdog, you're getting 3 points for a walk, so it is an extra point for a walk versus PrizePicks. So looks like they're going to be pretty consistent with Fanduel. So I kind of like the Suarez 6.5 fantasy points since he's at the top of the bond detector. We'll do that. Julio Rodriguez 1.5 total bases. That's intriguing. I'd rather take the fantasy points. We have that on PrizePicks, so we'll stick with that. What else we got? Bradish is at 4 Ks. Yeah, I guess since we have that on, we have that same stuff. I don't know why I just sold it like that. We'll do Bradish over 4 Ks on underdog as well. What else we got? Bobichette, Kopech. Pollock at 1.5 total bases, leading off against a lefty, is a tempting click. I will say that. He has almost a 850 OPS last 2 years against lefties, 232 ISO, a 128 WRC plus in the last 2 years against lefties. That's an interesting one that I wouldn't hate. Roberts 1.5. I'd rather grab something with fantasy for Robert. They don't give it to us. Devers, we're already taking his bases on PrizePicks, so we might as well take it on underdog, right? It's the same bet. Whitlock at 4.5 Ks. That one I can get behind because we have that on PrizePicks as well. So that's linear. Over 4.5 Ks. What up, Eric? Eric. Franchi. Hunter Green. No. Jason base, half a hit against Hendricks, right? That one's fun. Bottom of the lineup though, I wish it was a little bit higher. We'll see. That lineup's still not out, right? If Jace Peterson gets like a sneaky spot in order, I might throw that into some cards tonight. Wilson Contreras, maybe. Half a hit for Frazier as well. That's interesting. Yelich is at 6.5 fantasy points. Mentioned Hendricks against lefties has certainly been susceptible. Seager at 1.5 total bases. He could take advantage of Jeffrey Springs' reverse splits. Springs is at 80 pitches, 5 Ks. That's appropriate. Mookie at 1.5 total bases. I think if we go back to that one. Mookie Betts 1.5 total bases. Last night he finally bled red. But as long as Mookie Betts is playing baseball, we probably take interest in his total bases. He's at 1.5 total bases on PrizePicks as well. So let's go ahead and add that. Mookie Betts over 1.5. What up, A? Aw, I appreciate that. Ayo. I like this community too. We keep the positive vibes, right? And I try to stay as real as possible. What else we got? Quintana, 90 pitches, 15 outs, 4 Ks. All right, I think that's it. I think that's gonna be the stuff here. So what I'll do is let me title this as stream notes. And if you guys are out there lurking and you own a Discord account, but you're not in my Discord, please accept my invitation to join. Link in the description below. I mean it when I say you guys are all invited. We keep the vibes high, don't bring the toxicness, and we celebrate the dubs, man. So shout out to EB winning 5K real quick. And I'll post my notes here, and then maybe we'll come back later and adjust a little bit. So those are the notes we took live on the air. That's in the free Discord. I'll probably tighten it up a little bit as more stuff gets confirmed and drop it in the premium YouTube member channels. Also in the premium YouTube member channels later, and it's right down here. So if you guys have gotten the channel membership here, you see that join button below, and you linked your Discord and you're not seeing these, definitely reach out to me. From what I understand, the YouTube to Discord sync happens once an hour. So after you sync your accounts, wait an hour or so. If it's been 2 hours and you still don't see it, definitely let me know, and I'll try and manually overwrite it. But yesterday Josh posted his his WNBA prop board. I've been posting my props for PrizePicks as well. Baseball is a little bit more flimsy, a little bit more variant, but it's there. So a little bit of a thank you for those of you doing, I think it's $5 a month to have that. And then in the live chat, here we go. There's the boy EB, the 10K dub. So what a way to start the day. Little $10,000 before lunch, right? That's what you like to see, man. I'm happy. It makes me happy. All right, so let me get out of you guys' way. In about 15 minutes, Josh is going to be back here with the WNBA show. There's 2 games of the WNBA docket tonight. We'll get that going, and then, be sure to show some love to that stream. That's a new piece of content we hope to have pretty often. Obviously not every day because their slates can be as little as 1 to no games. But I think 2 games or more will do a good effort to try and get some content out there And then tomorrow, what is tomorrow's baseball schedule? I think tomorrow I'm supposed to be on the Osmo stream, and it's one of those weird slates, so we may forego an afternoon stream. Maybe we'll see what that the schedule looks like on that slate. Could be 2, 4. It could be a 6-game main slate, or it could be an 8-game. I feel like it's gonna be one of those days where Fanduel makes it an 8-game and DraftKings makes it a 6-game. But we'll see. We might do a afternoon stream here, and then we'll do the live before lock on the Osmo channel. And then Friday for sure we have the big slate. And I need someone to not let me forget that Friday I'm gonna try and maybe we'll do a community underdog draft and have some fun with that one, since there should be a good slate of pitchers and a lot of offenses to go to. So we'll have fun with that. All right, let me get you guys out of here, man. I appreciate you guys. Twitter.com/GunDaggerSports. If you want the spreadsheet, want a player pool, all that good stuff, go to RunDFS.com. Get yourself signed up. Try out a week pass. You also get that fantasy cruncher credit, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys maybe tomorrow. Tell somebody you love them. I love you. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.